it'd be great if you could share maybe one that you thought was your favorite, you know, or the best application you found internally, and how that came about.
Yeah, for sure. So my favorite application wasn't actually to do with the jigs and fixtures. It was one that came from an idea from one of our engineers I was working with. It was a really great one. So we had when coronavirus hit, we had a realization that we were actually making the jigs and fixtures off the Markforged and other equipment faster than we could get the raw material in. So what he suggested was, why don't we print a finished part and use that to program some of our inspection metrology, our inspection equipment metrology. And we said, okay, I can see how that could develop. So we ended up printing, they're called stems. So we ended up printing 4 of our stems, but to the finished part dimensions. And we went and we actually programmed the CMM machine. And in that way, when the metal part arrived to inspection, there was not going to be any bottleneck of having to do the programs. So to start with, we weren't 100% confident it was going to work, so we actually printed a size that we already had in metal, and we compared the two, and we put them on the CMM and made a program on the plastic part, and then measured the metal part and kind of proved it worked. And that's when the trigger kind of came that, okay, we could be onto something here, we could really save ourselves some time. With this huge number of varieties of parts, you also have this huge number of varieties of inspection programs. So that went from 3 or 4 parts to start with, and then 48 different stems came off the printers eventually. All of them had their CMM program done, and then we also started programming other non-contact metrology around that same room. So we have a lot of vision systems and things that we program to do checks through our manufacturing process, and they all ended up getting programmed. Then the guys from the laser marker heard that we'd done this, and they said, well, can we use those same parts and go and program our laser marker off of them? You know, can you laser mark this stuff? And so we ended up we tried it a couple of times, we got the parameters right, and it comes out a nice gray on the black Onyx. And we ended up giving them even more parts because they wanted to start simulating whole batches at once. So we printed them off so many parts I couldn't even count them. But we actually programmed the laser marking equipment off of that. And then my absolute favorite application was when the CNC guys started seeing what we were doing down the non-loaded end, and said, well, hey, if you could maybe print us off the dimensions of our raw material, can we start proving out our tool parts? You know, we know that it's not machining metal, but we want to make sure that our CAM session translates over to the physical machine, and we're making sure that we're homing in the right ways, or making sure that we're not going to have a collision. And so we did that a couple of times, and we noticed that even if there was something that happened, because it was a plastic part, there was no risk of damage to the machine or anything. And we caught a couple of times when it would have taken maybe a little divot out of the part. And so, that was my absolute favorite, was when we actually started printing these solid raw material and then actually machining it away and simulating that actual manufacturing process.
That's brilliant, isn't it? So the part essentially is, say, a week or 2 weeks ahead of your raw casting being delivered. So as soon as that's done, the plastic part is one step ahead, and they're always ready to go.
And they're so cheap compared to
So I guess previously you were actually using a casting or a prototype in metal that was essentially a throwaway.
So we still need to prove out on development metal parts, but what it did was it gave us that you'd run something in the machine that gave you the confidence of, okay, at least my tool path is right. Now I just concentrate on the speed and the actual tool I'm using and tool life and things like that, rather than, okay, I'm starting from zero, I've got to do this whole thing. At least you could get ahead of the game. It was a great application. Yeah. And we're trying to do that with everything. I am anyway. We're trying to do that with as much stuff as we can. So it's a great one.
Great.